Hello everyone again, Scott here, back with another 7 movies, some of the best movies that came out in the year 1995, looking back 20 years to 1995. We left off with The Usual Suspects by Bryan Singer, which is a terrific movie. And the next movie I'd like to talk about is La Cité des Enfants Perdus, otherwise known as The City of Lost Children. It's a French film that was co-directed by Marc Caro and Jean-Pierre Jeunet. Jean-Pierre Jeunet went on to do Amélie and a bunch of other very interesting films. This is, of course, a foreign language movie which Ron Perlman starred in, and it's a very, very weird movie, a lot of very strange characters, very surreal, kind of Terry Gilliam-like, takes place in this strange sort of industrial town, and Ron Perlman is this strong man who befriends a 12-year-old girl whose little brother has been kidnapped by this evil scientist who's trying to steal dreams from kids, and so they have to figure out where the scientist is and basically rescue all the little kids. There's a lot of really fantastical elements in here, some very, very strange characters, also maybe a little bit of Tim Burton, but yeah, it's definitely unique and a fun movie. Very visually striking too. I'd also like to mention the score by Angelo Badalamenti, a terrific score. He did the music for a lot of David Lynch projects, including the TV series Twin Peaks. Death and the Maiden is a film by Roman Polanski. It's probably my favorite film by Polanski. It's based on a play. Sigourney Weaver and Stuart Wilson are a couple who take in a stranger who has had some car trouble. The stranger is played by Ben Kingsley, although Sigourney Weaver thinks that she recognizes the guy's voice. Turns out years earlier when she was younger she was a political prisoner and she was tortured, and she believes that this guy in their house is the doctor who not only kept her alive but also participated in some of her torture during that time. And she basically kidnaps him, well, not really kidnaps him, but holds him hostage and demands that he confess on camera to what the crimes that he committed against her all those years ago. It's very intense movie, pretty intense. And whatever your feelings about Roman Polanski, he's made some terrific movies, and this is one of my favorites by him, if not my favorite film by him. Let's see, The Bridges of Madison County was a movie that got a lot of attention when it came out. It was based on a novel that did very well. Meryl Streep is an Italian housewife who meets Clint Eastwood, who plays a photographer. Clint Eastwood also, of course, directed this movie. While Meryl Streep's husband and children are away from the house for several days, and she strikes up a relationship with this guy that turns romantic as he is photographing the bridges in her area. Yeah, really good movie and terrific acting. I like a lot of Clint Eastwood's movies, and this is a really good one by him. Not perhaps as good as, say, Unforgiven or $1 Million Baby, but it's still really good. Steven Soderbergh, of course, is a guy I'm a big fan of, have been for a long time, and in 1995 he released a movie called The Underneath, with Peter Gallagher. Peter Gallagher, of course, appeared in Soderbergh's first feature film, Sex, Lies, and Videotape. And in this movie he gets caught up in a scam to rob an armored car company that he works for. There's a very intricate flashback structure, and of course the visual style is very exciting, as it is in a lot of Soderbergh films. So that one's really good. Also, probably the first movie I saw William Finkner in. William Finkner is a character actor who has got kind of a very intense look. He's got sort of bug eyes and sort of oddly shaped face. He was a scary guy in this movie. He's, a criminal and someone you didn't want to mess with, and he made a strong impression on me when I saw it. In 1995, Oliver Stone released a movie called Nixon. It was one of 3 movies that was scored by John Williams. The previous 2, of course, were JFK and Born on the 4th of July. Nixon I like the best of these. Of course, it is a very, very long movie. It's over 3 hours, especially if you take into account the director's cut. Anthony Hopkins plays Richard Nixon, the former president. Joan Allen plays his wife, Pat. And there's another one of these huge ensemble casts that are just really, really impressive. Yeah, it's a challenging movie. It's difficult to get through, but I'm really interested in this movie, partly because I didn't really live through this period. And I mean, if there was a period that I did live through, it was when I was a very, very, very young person, so I wasn't paying attention to any of it. But yeah, really, really terrific movie. And like a lot of Oliver Stone movies, it's very, very visually striking. Also, he was working with the cinematographer for that went on to do Kill Bill. Oh my goodness, I can't remember the guy's name now. He did JFK with him. He did Born on the 4th. He did Nixon. He did what's his name? I can't remember his name now. I'm sorry about that. But it's one of those movies. Before Sunrise, of course, came out in the early part of 1995. Richard Linklater, the first installment, Richard Linklater's trilogy of movies. Actually, I said in my intro video there would be no sequels. I'm going to end up breaking that rule as well. I need to include the before movies in the series right here. It's, of course, the first of the 3 movies that he made with Ethan Hawke and Julie Delpy. They're people that may meet on the Eurail. And they meet again years later. But this is their first night together. They basically spend the whole night just wandering around Vienna, talking, and then at the end they agree to meet again in 6 months' time. It's a lovely movie, really terrific. And the final movie that I want to talk about from 1995 is, of course, one of the most devastating experiences I ever had seeing a movie in the theater, and that is David Fincher's film Seven, which caught me completely off guard, and I had no idea just how powerful the film was going to be. A really exciting movie. Of course, Morgan Freeman and Brad Pitt are 2 cops in an unnamed city where it seems to rain all the time and nobody's paid the light bill, and they're looking for a serial killer who's modeled his crimes after the 7 deadly sins. Of course, Gwyneth Paltrow, Arlie Ermey, Kevin Spacey are all in this movie, and it's just an amazing film. Always liked Seven, and I recommend that movie to everybody after I saw it. Every single person I met, I said, go see Seven, because it's great. So that wraps up 1995, and the next video I make will be, I'll start on the movies of 1996, and I will see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye.